Look at that. Oh yes, now that is a proper bite. Well, you join me today at Firswood Fisheries. Now this is a venue really close to me, so a local venue. And it's a venue where I sort of had a go at fishing mussels last year, lovely F1 in. And I thought to myself, what a perfect place to bring the Sonubaits cameras back down and try our new meaty mussel ground bait. And that's what we're doing today. And I'll be honest, we're having a fantastic day's fishing. He's a lovely F1, £2 F1, slipping back. But yeah, we've come back down to Firswood Fisheries and we're going to try the new meaty mussel ground bait. I haven't tried it here yet, so I thought this would be the perfect place to come. We've got literally just mussels and the meaty mussel ground bait, and we're having some fantastic results here. I've been fishing it for a bit now and I've had a few fish, and that was another lovely F1. But what we'll do is we're going to move over to the bait. I'll run you through all the bait, how I prepare it. There is different ways you can actually prepare your mussels as well. We'll go through all that now and then we'll hit back over to the fishing. So as you just seen, we had that lovely big F1 and we're having a fantastic day here at Firswood Fisheries. I've had a number of fish, but I did say I'm going to run you through that bait, so let's do it. As you can see on my side tray, it's a proper meaty ground bait tray today. And I'm going to run you through how I prepared my meaty mussel ground bait and also the ways you can prepare your mussels, because over the last 12 months, I think mussels are becoming more and more of a popular bait and they're working really well, because I think a lot of people haven't been feeding them on fisheries and it's a new bait introduced and the fish are loving them, to be honest with you. I go to a local venue called Partridge Lakes and they're all on it there now and they're getting good results on it. There's a young lad called Harry Campbell who's going and he's fishing it and he's getting some really, really good results. So I'm going to run you through how I go about preparing it basically. So what I do was I go to the supermarket, I go to the frozen section and I get 2 bags of mussels. I think the 400 gram bags, so 2 of them for a session is ample amount of bait basically in the mussels. So that's what I get. And the good thing about this is as well, if you go to the supermarket, buy these mussels, you can chuck them in your freezer for when you get a bit of spare time and you're going fishing. So what I'm trying to say is they're really easy to maintain, not like maggots and casters. You can literally just look after them dead easy. If the missus lets you go fishing or you get a spare day from work and you want to get out fishing, they're in the freezer, just get them out and away you go. So let's run you through how I prepare everything. So what I do is I get me 2 bags of mussels and then I open one of the bags and take half of the bag out and put them in a tub, and they're going to be my hook baits basically for the day. Now I'm going to show you how I hook my mussel on, because you can vary the size of mussel, and the way I do it is like this. Just grab my rig and I can show you. So what I do is I get the mussel. Now there's different shades of mussel as well. Try and work out when you're fishing what shade's best, because I've had different results different times that I've fished it. There's some browny coloured ones, there's some white ones, and there's some orangey coloured ones. So there's a good difference in colours there, and try and work out what's best on the day. I've actually been fishing with a whitey coloured one at the minute, and that's been good. Now the way that you hook this is, there is a mussel within the mussel, believe it or not, which is a tough bit, and that's what I hook it through. So what I do is I get my hook. It's like a white thing, it's blatantly obvious, you can see it. Hook it through that because it's tougher, you see, it helps it to stay on a lot better. So if you miss a bite and it doesn't come off easy, you can go back in and get another bite at the cherry basically. So I'll hook it through that. Now you can vary the size of mussel that you want to use for the day. If I was going to a carp venue and there's a lot of big carp, I'd probably think about actually putting a full mussel on, not even cutting it down. But here at Firswood Fisheries, it's got a mix of fish in it. It's got some big carp in it, a lot of F1s. So what I like to do is snip it down in size. So the way that I do that is I hook it on and I use my fingers just to tear it off to the size that I want. And as you can see, I've probably got like a 6mm piece of mussel on there now. And you could make it even half a mussel if you want. But that's the way that I tear it off and do it basically. I think that's important though, making sure you hook it through that mussel within the mussel, because if you hook it just in the mussel anywhere, there's chances of it just coming off all the time on you. So that's the way that I hook my mussel, and then obviously I have half a bag of mussels in a tub, and they're my hookers, my hook bait for the day. And then what you can do with this mussel, so I've got another half, the other half of the bag here, And what you do is during the session, you have a little whizzer, and then you can take out bits at a time. And I have the whizzer on my side tray, so I've got like, what have I got there, like 10 mussels. Just whack them in the whizzer, put the lid on the whizzer, and give it a few pulls. We'll do that now. As you can see, they're all whizzed up. And then what I like to do is, with this, is take that mushed up mussel, put it in a tub, and add a bit of our meaty mussel ground bait. And that's what I'm fishing today here at Firswood Fishery, and I'm getting some great results on it. It's brilliant. You look at that now, that consistency is beautiful. Just slides out your pot as well and sinks really quick to the bottom. Now, you don't have to add the mushed up mussel to it, because our meaty mussel ground bait already has loads of mussel meal within the ground bait. But the reason why I'm adding it today here is because I'm fishing off the bank a little bit in a bit deeper water. I just think adding that little bit of mushed up mussel makes it even heavier. The good thing about our meaty mussel ground bait as well, it is heavy, it takes on loads of water, but I'm just adding that just to boost it up a little bit more as well. But like I say, you don't have to do it. You could just go and buy a bag of meaty mussel ground bait from the tackle shop, buy one bag of mussel for some hookers, and away you go. So you can do that as well. But I do like to add, sometimes I don't, just add it, work out whether you need to add it or not. If you don't need to add it, don't. Just that extra boost, basically. I think when I'm fishing tight in the edge against the bank in shallower water, I wouldn't add the mushy mussel. I'd like to just add basically just ground bait, nothing to me ground bait, neat, meaty mussel ground bait, tight in the edge, but larger quantities of it as well at the same time. So that's one way that you can do it. You can also chop your mussel up into pieces and chuck bits of mussel in as well. I'm not doing that here today at Firswood. I'm just trying to keep it as simple as I possibly can. And the way that I know that it works on this lake as well is that mushed up mussel with some ground bait. But you can chuck a bit and chop it up and chuck a bit in as well at the same time if you need to. The world's your oyster with it, I think. You can do absolutely anything with this bait. It's brilliant. So that's what I've got on my side tray. Loads of mussel. It's proper mussely. But also, there's a way that you can prepare your ground bait as well. Now, this ground bait, I absolutely love this. This is what I'm using all the time when I go fishing now. You can do absolutely anything with this ground bait as well. But when you're pole fishing, I'll put 4 pints of the dry ground bait in my baits, in my bucket, and then I add 3.5 pints of water. I think that's really important. I tried it adding 50-50 and it sort of was a little bit too claggy for me. So make sure you add 4 pints. I always mix up 4 pints of the ground bait basically. So 4 pints of dry ground bait, 3.5 pints of water. Put it in the bucket, you'll look at it and think, oh, I've just destroyed that, it looks like a mess. But if you leave it for 25-30 minutes, come back to it and it's like really rock hard, like a cake. And all you have to do is break that up, push it through the riddle, and you have got the perfect ground bait for your session. It's perfect, that. It's still not too wet, not too claggy, because sometimes when you feed your ground baits, you want it a touch dry because I think it creates a bit of a cloud, draws them fish into your peg. What I like to have on my side tray is a tub of water as well. So while I'm fishing, what I can do is, on the go, I can add a bit of water and make it a bit stodgier, like paste consistency and claggy, if I want to sort of stop it being cloudy and go down to the bottom a lot quicker, pin them fish on the bottom. So that's the baits, that's the way I prepare them. Let's get back over to that fishing and catch some more fish. Right, so we've gone through all that bait. Let's get back in and get some more fishing done. So, if you remember us saying, when I was going through the bait, I was catching well on a white mussel. So I'm going to go back on a white coloured one. I've picked one out there, through that mussely part. Again, it's important to hook it through that. And I've been on catching on the size of one, probably the size of like a 6mm piece of mussel. That's what I've been nipping it off at. And hopefully they're there again, ready to be caught. Just going to add a bit of, I'm always playing about with my consistency of everything all the time. Adding a bit of water here and there, just trying to keep, because you know what fishing's like, it changes all the time as well, the fish. I feel like different strains of fish come in your peg. Sometimes some stockies come in, sometimes some bigger F1s come in, sometimes a lot of carp come in. So keep playing about with your mix just till you get it right, what you feels right. But at the minute, I've been feeding a little bit of chopped up mussel, but mainly ground bait, and that's been working a treat. I've just got a medium matrix pot on, and I'm filling it right up and just thumbing it down ever so slightly so it comes out the pot nice and easy when you turn it over right on your marker. Now I've got a little spot that's nice and flat within the reeds. It's just cut out in the reeds a little bit, and that's where I'm fishing it. Now what I do is make sure you get on your marker. It's really important to always be on your marker. Lower your pot to the water, dunk it in, give it a little bit of time and it all melts out just like that. That's perfect. And lift your rig right on your marker in position and you're fishing. And as you can see, I always fish with a bit of a longer lash. I like that because you can see now I've got my pole tip not directly right over where I'm fishing. I've got it to the right towards the bank, just keeping my pole tip out the way. I've got 2 number 8 back shots, and what that's doing is pulling me float towards the bank all the time. On these commercials, they're very slopey, variation of depth changes everywhere you go, so it's nice to make sure that your rig is on the bottom. If you're off the bottom, you won't get any bites, but I'm set, my trap's set, and I'm fishing. Just about being patient and waiting for that positive bite. When you get a bite on this mussel, it just flies under. So hopefully, won't take long before we catch another one. Now obviously, it's only early at the minute, but the later and the later a session gets, the better the fishing gets. So I think at the minute what I have been doing is being a little bit more patient, just biding my time, waiting for one coming. But you know what it's like in fishing? As I said, the later the session gets, they come in more aggressive, more numbers of fish. So then it'll just be like, go in, getting one straight away, coming back one. But at the minute, because it's only early, we're just being patient, waiting for that proper bite. I had an indication then. Just take your time, be patient. What I'll do is I'll give it 3 minutes, and then if I don't get a bite, I'll come back, refeed it again. Just keep that bait going in as well. You can't be too patient. There's definitely one there now. Getting lots of indications then. But be patient. This is why I have quite a bit of float tip showing, so you can read your bites. That's so important as well at the same time, reading your bites. Don't want to be striking into any false indications, foul hooking them, disturbing your peg, because you've just got less chances of them coming in. I almost feel in fishing what happens is, like I said to you earlier, you get an odd one coming, so that's why we're being more patient, and they're harder to catch when there's just one fish coming into your peg. So you've got to be patient. And then obviously when one comes into your peg, this is why you get your false indications, and you know, this is why you need more bristle showing to try and work out what a proper bite is, because there's one fish there, he's just moving about on his own, eating bits of bait, because he can do what he wants. But when there's loads there a bit later in a session, you can afford to literally just get it in quick, because they're aggressive and they're eating your bait. So at the minute, just be patient, have loads of that bristle showing, and just wait for that proper pull under. Honestly, from in the past when I've fished mussel, when you get a bite on this, it flies under. I'm fishing a bigger hook as well. You can get away with fishing a bigger hook when you're fishing mussels as well. I've got a 14s X1 commercial carp hook on. It's our matrix, out of our matrix range of hooks. Oh, another indication then. I've had mainly F1s at the minute, which is telling me the carp are not coming in aggressive neither. You know what carp are like? They're late feeders as well. They come in a bit later in a session. Keep your eye out at what's going on. You'll see signs of one coming in your peg. Like I can see the rush knocking a little bit now. It must be undercut under them rushes, so I can imagine one swimming about there doing what he wants. We're just hoping that he comes in and he nails that mussel. But as I mentioned to you just as well, different strains of fish coming in, so it might, indication again, different strains of fish coming in, so it might be the fact that I have to change the size of my mussel as well for bigger stamp fish. Fishing as you're thinking all the time. That's the good thing about this mussel as well. You can change it up as you go. You're not restricted. There's definitely one there. You can see I'm getting loads of indications. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds. If I don't get a bite, I'm going to come back and refeed again, because I feel like that fish has been in. He's messed about with all my trap. It's a little bit like method feeder fishing. He's moved all the bait everywhere. so your trap's all moved. But I've not had a sign there now, so I'll come back, feed it again. You've got to be productive. Don't just sit there waiting for it to happen. That's the type of angler I am. Again, get a bit of that mussely ground bait. This is the one that I'm mixing up. It's got chopped up mussel in with ground bait mixed in it as well. Put a bit of that in. If I feel like there's too many fish in my peg and they're preoccupied and all that chopped up mussel, I will cut it out. Again, just keep thinking about what you're doing. That come out lovely, that then. Just slid out my pot. Right on my marker, rig back on your marker and you're fishing again. And that trap's set, it's just about being patient. What I've tried to do here today as well is, it's important to get yourself as close to the banking as you can to try and stop them fish getting behind your rig. I feel like the more you, especially when you're fishing with this type of bait, I think with ground baits and chopped up mussels, I think you need to try and get a little bit closer to the bank. So I'm fishing up against these rushes here. I know they'll be undercut a little bit, but I'm trying to get in as tight as I can. It's all about depth of water as well. Oh, another indication. They're definitely there. It's all about depth of water as well. With this type of baits that I'm fishing and the way that I'm fishing it here today, you want to try and get into the shallowest water you can. So here where I'm fishing, it's 28-inch deep. So I'd be happily fishing this up to about 30-inch deep, and then anything less basically till tight against the bank. After that, you want to be thinking about maybe not feeding the ground bait, maybe chopping some mussel up and chucking in pieces. So chucking more like particles in. Just because the deeper you go, the more chance of bringing them up off the bottom basically. But there's definitely fish there, it's just about being patient. We had a little break as well while we talked about the baits, so it might take a couple of feeds, get it going again as well at the same time. But it's been about really being patient, basically. Wait for that. You'll see when we get a bite, it'll proper fly under. There's one there now, I can see. Float's moving a little bit. There's a tail pattern, I think he's got his head down feeding. You see them swirls on the water surface, that's when the fish is head down, tail up, and he's rooting for bait on the bottom, basically. Go on, eat me bait. I'm sure it won't take long. This is my second feed since I've gone back in. There's definitely one there. But you can see how I've got all that bristle showing and the float's moving up and down slightly. If you had that dotted right down, you'd be striking into them and just foul looking the fish and never settling them. But I'll run you through my setup while we're waiting as well and being patient. So basically for today's session, what I've set up is I've set up one of our 2-metre kits. So it's like a bit like a match kit basically. I just thought I'll set a match kit up because there is some carp in this venue. So if I hook some carps, bit more elastic, more chance of getting them in. I can keep my terminal tackle step down a little bit with that, because I feel like if you fish a short kit, you'd have to step your terminal tackle up a little bit with the elastic that I'm fishing. So the elastic that I'm fishing is our 12s to 14s orange slick. I love this elastic for carp, for big F1s and carp. It's brilliant, get them under control quick and get them in the net, especially when you're fishing down the edges. That's the reason why I've put it in one of our 2-metre match kits basically, just for that extra bit of elastic. Now, my main line for this rig is 018 soft steel, just a nice robust main line. You want something that's robust because you're fishing up against reeds like we are here, and if you hook a fish and he tries to run you through the reeds, then you want it to be robust and not break on. You don't want to be setting up, oh, I missed a bite then, I'll come back and feed. You don't want to be setting up all the time. So, if you're in a match situation especially, you want it to basically last you for that 5-hour, 6-hour session that you're fishing. Now this time, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to feed neat ground bait. I feel like that might get me a chance of getting a bite, might be just picking my hook bait out then, with only being my hook bait there on the bottom, instead of feeding any of that mush. See how we get on with that. But yeah, the main line is 018 soft steel main line. Just nice and robust gear. for when you're fishing up against places like this. All summertime I use 018 for this type of fishing. For me commercial carp and F1 fishing, 018 soft steel. Now, again, I mentioned about that longer lash. I've got a longer lash from my float to my connector. Probably about 12 inch, that lash. And then I've got 2 number 8 back shots as well. It's important to have them back shots on, as I explained, for keeping your rig towards the bank. And also, when you get a bite, you're only striking into that last little part of the rig. Now, the float I've chosen here is a stubby slim, matrix stubby slim float in a 0.3 of a gram. This takes 6 number 9s and I've got it shotted as a bulk and 1 dropper. Summertime, I like to fish more aggressive shotting patterns, more aggressive shot as well. So like in this depth of water as well, anything up to 3 foot, I will use a 0.3 of a gram stubby slim. After that, then I'll be thinking about stepping up to a 0.4, 0.5 gram of a float. But in this depth of water, that's perfect for me today. Oh, I had another bite then. Now my trap's moved and I've lifted my rig out. Don't drop your rig back in, come back, feed again. He's moved that trap, you've got to go back in on it. Again, I'm just feeding that neat ground bait. As I was saying about the shotting, I always fish an aggressive shotting patterns during the summer months. So this is a bulk and dropper, 6 number 9s, 5 number 9s as a bulk and 1 number 9 dropper, 4-inch hook length of 014 soft steel. And as you remember when I was talking a little bit earlier, you can step your hook size up, you can fish a bigger hook when you're fishing with mussel. So I've got a 14s X1 commercial carp hook on, just a bigger hook for housing that piece of mussel. If I want to put a full mussel on that, I can do as well. So I can be dead versatile with it. So a 14s hook I've got on. Again, I've got that 4-inch hook length, then you've got your dropper, then you have a 4-inch gap and your bulk basically. And that's my setup. Nice and simple. You've all seen it before, but works really well during this time of year. But hopefully, we can get ourselves into a fish. Oh, that was a good bite then. Again, come back, feed it again. Just keep playing about with what you're feeding. This time I feel like I'm going to feed a bit more of that mushed up mussel with ground bait in. See if I can pin them on the bottom. Once you find out what works best for you, then you'll get your run of fish on it. But just keep playing about with how you're doing it and how you're feeding it. Back on my marker again, feed that bait. Rig floats bang on my marker and I'm fishing. It's a bit tricky to see around these reeds here where I'm fishing, but that was the best part of my peg when I was plumbing up. So what I mean by that is the smoothest on the bottom that I felt when I was plumbing around. It was a bit rocky in other areas. So that's why it's so important to be on your marker all the time and sneaking it in behind them reeds there. You've got to make sure that the bottom's clear where you're fishing, because there's just sometimes with these irises that you're fishing up against here, they're growing out under the water, so you don't want to be fishing on top of them. Just make sure that it's clear where you're fishing. I'm just poking my head through a little reed where I can see me float there and I'm making sure I'm on my marker all the time. But we are being patient with this today. There's an odd one coming in at the minute. It's not aggressive fishing. But again, I think it will get better the later the session gets on. These F1s and carp, they've been caught so many times before, the crafty fish. They know exactly what they're doing. They come in your peg when you're not there. You can see them mudding up. As soon as you go in with your rig, crafty, they just know that you're there fishing away. This is why you've got to try and do these little, the 1% that I say, with having your pole tip not directly over your pole, trying to like fool the fish that you're not there basically. Oh, that's a proper bite. That's what we're looking for. That is perfect. You see them bites? Just being patient with it as well. And we're in. Lovely F1. Nice browny golden colour, that one. Not massive, but it was a great bite and a great demonstration of what we were looking for with them bites. It's just a fly under. Look at him, he's a beauty. What a fish. That's not got a mark on him. He's beautiful. Not a massive fish, but you'd take him. And again, I just feel like now go back in, keep repeating it. And also, the more you do it and you keep putting that bait and keep doing it and keep doing it, you're getting quite a bit of bait on the bottom. Then when more numbers of fish will come in your peg. You just got to keep building your swim, basically. I'm going to pick out another mussel again now. I think this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to try one of the orangey colour looking mussels this time instead of a white one. Again, I'm hooking it through that muscly part where it's nice and tough, and then I'm going to chop it off with my fingers at about a 6mm size, because I do feel like we're fishing for a bit more F1s at the minute, not carp. So if I feel like carp do start coming in a peg, I will sort of change the size on me piece of mussel that I put on. That's another thing that's important. See, I was clearing my line then. I always like my line clear. There's a bit of snot on or a bit of mess off what the F1, when I just caught that F1, make sure your line's clear all the time. Now that last time I fed some of the chopped up mussel with the ground bait in, so I'm going to go for that again. It's drying out a bit, but this is why I like to have that tub of water on my side tray, just so I can keep playing about with that consistency and stodging it up. That's what I'm fishing at the minute. Look at that, it's like a pasty like, that consistency, that's what you want, because what happens when you feed it like that is it sinks straight to the bottom, creates no cloud, trying to pin them fish on the bottom. And if you remember a little bit earlier, I fed 2 feeds with just ground bait where I had my pot on the water. That creates that cloud to draw them fish in the peg. So what your ground bait and all this that you're doing with, you're just doing a job with it basically. So I'm loaded back up again. Again, flick your rig away. I like to do that because we're on a slope here in the edge. Flick your rig out into the lake, bring your pole pot to your marker, and tap that bait out. Now what you noticed then when I did it with that stodgy ground bait is I didn't put my pot on the water. I turned my pot on the water and tapped it out. I feel like that's better doing it when you're doing it that way when you're fishing with that stodgy ground bait. If I'm just potting the ground bait in, then I'll put my pot on the water and let it release out the pot with the pressure of the water. But because I'm fishing that stodgy bait, I just feel like you need to turn your pot over on your marker, tap it, let it hit the water and just go straight down in like a stodgy ball to the bottom. Just trying to pin them fish on the bottom. But that was a beautiful bite, that last bite. I just bided my time, worked my way through it, reading the float. It's so important. It's not like winter time this. You've got to have bristle showing. I think I've stressed it a few times now. You will disturb your peg. But you watch what I was doing then. I didn't get frustrated with it just because there was fish there. I was missing an odd bite. I sort of fed a bit of dry ground bait, tried to work out what was happening, did just work hard at it. Them that work hard get the rewards, and that's fishing in general. As I said to you, these fish have been caught so many times before. They're really crafty, especially them big fish, them big F1s and carp. There's one there in my peg now, but again, because I've got all that bristle showing, I can see that there's one in there rooting away in my peg, and I'm just waiting for that proper pull under. On that mussel, it's unbelievable, the bites, it just flies under. So you can afford to have quite a bit of float tip showing as well. I just think they suck it in. Because you've got that big 14s hook on, just hang on to it. Oh yes, that is a proper fish, that one. I was just about thinking on coming back and refeeding and it flew straight under. Big F1 this one, I think. Oh yeah, proper F1 this one. You see that elastic doing the work, getting them under control really quick. He's a proper one there, what we're looking for. Good stamp. 2-3 pound F1. Proper fish. He's a fantastic fish. But yeah, I was just about thinking coming back and feeding again, and it just went straight under. But that was great. It's so good, this mussel. It really is. I just like the fact that you can do absolutely anything you want with it. And again, because if you fancy a day's fishing, you don't want to, and you can't get to tackle shop, then straight to the supermarket or in that freezer, grab a bag of mussels, and away you go. But I always take that everywhere I go now, that meaty mussel ground bait, I take that. It's replaced. I used to love match method mix, and I still love match method mix. It's one of my favourite ground baits. It's something I still use, but for some reason this year I've been taking this everywhere I go because I just think I've got it in my mind now that it's mussels, a new bait introduced into these lakes. Well, it's not a new bait introduced into these lakes. There's been people fishing mussels for years, so I can't say it's a new bait introduced into the lakes. It's just that more and more people are starting to feed the bait into the lakes, so why not take the mussel ground bait? So that's in my mind. It works really well, mixes up really well, so it's a no-brainer for me. So I've just had another then, I've gone back in, I've fed that ground bait and mushy mussel consistency. Just because it's heavy, I think I'm getting it down, pinning it on the bottom and being patient. But if they don't come in, I won't hesitate on coming back and feeding just a bit of neat ground bait, the meaty mussel ground bait. Again, just trying to draw them in my peg with that ground bait. It's all here on my side tray, ready to go, all the time. But take that into consideration as well. When you do your mussels and you're mushing them up, have your whizzer on your peg, have your mussels in a bag, and just take out what you need at a time and whiz them up. And if you run out, get a few more, whiz a few more up. I wouldn't whiz them all up at home and then bring them to the peg and put them on your side tray, because you might not want to feed that much, or it's just a waste, I think. At least on your peg here now, you can play about with it all the time. But again, that last bite was a proper pull under bite, flew under. Exactly what we're looking for. Another thing that I've not really touched on as well is I have two pots when I'm doing this. So we have a medium matrix pot and the large matrix pot. Play about with that as well. There'll be days where, believe it or not, you'll pot that medium matrix and you're getting liners and stuff and you think, I'm feeding too much bait, but it's not sometimes. Take your pot off, put your larger pot on, put a bit more bait in, and it'll start flying under. Because I almost think you're just not quite feeding enough and you're not getting enough fish in your peg. A lot of people think, oh, I'm feeding too much bait because I'm just foul looking them and getting liners and stuff like that. It's not, it's the other way around a lot of the time. You need to feed a bit more bait. So we have two pots. I have the other one's on my side tray here. There's the large one, and then that's the large pot, and then I've got the medium pot as well. I don't know if you've noticed as well, but I sort of doctored my pots. I've cut the holes out a little bit. Oh, I missed a bite then. Yeah, I've cut the holes. I've not cut the holes out a little bit. I've cut holes in the side of my pots. As you can see on that side I've got a hole, and on that side I've got a hole. Just when I'm feeding that ground bait and I put my pot on the water surface and turn my pot over, water can flush into it a bit quicker and push it out your pot. Because when you're doing this pot fishing, especially with that ground bait, you're trying to make minimal noise on the water surface, so you need your pot sneaked in and you need water to flush into your pot and get it on the bottom quickly and without making any noise, because if you make noise, then fish will come in off bottom and you just have problems then. So that's the reason why I've cut a few extra holes out in my pot, just for them when I'm fishing that neat ground bait and trying to sneak it into my peg. Just less work you keeping your pot on the water surface as well, less time, it comes out quicker, speeds you up a little bit. But I'm fishing that mushed up ground bait, stodgy at the minute, so all I do is I turn my pot over, get to my mark, and you watch, just falls out itself. That's beautiful. And again, get on my marker, pull tip towards the bank, back shots pulling my float towards the banking, and I'm on the bottom and I'm fishing. Just see me float through them reeds. Oh, that was another lovely bite that then. It was a bite that, I don't know actually, it could have been a liner. Do it again, repeat that process. Just because I miss a bite, have you noticed every time that I miss a bite, I'll never flick my rig back in and drop back in. I always come back and refeed because I'm trap fishing basically. You've just got to think about like when you're fishing that method feeder. It's a little parcel of bait. Once that fish comes in and moves that parcel of bait, you've got to come back and refeed because it's just everywhere. Again, you're just seeing it slide out my pot, rig on my marker, and pull that rig towards the bank with them back shots, and you're fishing. And hopefully I can catch another one. Big wobbly one this time, I'll take that. I have noticed that today, especially at the minute, there is fish coming into my peg, but there's not enough. It's just that one fish I feel, and he's rooting around and can do what he wants, and I'm just waiting, being patient. Every day is different. Could be a day where you just get a bite of chuck. What decides the fishing a lot of the time is the weather conditions, the air pressure, if it's high pressure, low pressure, everything changes, wind direction. So the fishing changes with it, and every day is different. You've just got to have all this little tips and tricks in your armoury, and you're ready for it on that day for what it is, basically. Oh, yes. Oh, it's a carp, this. Oh, it's proper taking me on the right run. He is pulling this one. This is a proper fish, this one. And what a fine fish to finish this video on. Having to stand up with him, taking me right round the back of these reeds on the other side. Oh, it's a big unit. It's a lovely bite again as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a proper in-depth look at how I go about fishing mussels, and obviously the way you feed it. There's loads of little tips and tricks in there for you, because I feel like people do shy away from it because they don't know how to feed the bait. So hopefully this video helps you on how you feed it. But what a fish to finish on. So hope I can land him, because he's proper giving me the pull around. Oh yeah, what a unit. Look at that. Just what we're waiting for. Lovely common. Beautiful fish. I'm going to hold him up for you, because that is a fine fish, this one. Oh, he's a naughty little bugger. Put my rig down for this, don't want to be dropping him. Look at this for a fish. Oh, he's lively. Didn't get hold of him. What a fish. I don't want to... Oh, he's lively, this one. Whee! There we go, look at that. Proper mussel fish. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Get on the mussels, get on the meaty mussel ground bait, and I'm sure you'll get some good rewards of fish like that one.